Welcome to the first meeting of the Joint Conference Committee on Higher Education as we begin to discuss our recommendations for the 24-25 fiscal budget. My name is Toby Stavisky, and I chair the Committee on Higher Education in the State Senate, and Senate Assembly Member Fahey will take over in a moment, but let me just say that, as always, I'm honored to be here with my co-chair, Assemblymember Pat Fahey, as we work together to strengthen New York State's excellent and innovative higher education agenda. Joining me is Senator Leah Webb, and the ranking member, Senator Joe Griffo. Before I go into some of the details, let me make some observations first, and then I will turn it over to Assemblymember Fahey for her comments, and then we'll each, I think, read our one House resolution proposals. The Senate one House resolution considered the governor's executive budget, and many of our changes have to do with restoring cuts to the governor's budget. Obviously, there are two parts, the capital part and the operating aid part. The capital, to start with, we recommended that the capital appropriations from the 2023-2024 enacted budget, that those cuts be restored for the most part. And we have some other capital recommendations as well. To summarize them very quickly, we suggest that those cuts be restored, and there was some capital for the independent colleges as well. We restored cuts to Bundy Aid, and we restored the cut to the HECAP, the Higher Education Capital program, the 3-to-1 match for the independent colleges. We also recommended for SUNY and CUNY both the operating aid increase. We did focus on TAP, as the Assemblywoman and I feel very strongly about turning on the TAP, whether it be increasing the minimum award, improving the income eligibility, raising it from $80,000 a year to $125,000 a year. And that change has not been made. That number has not been changed in the last 20 years, and it's about time. And we're trying to reverse the trend to balance our budget to improve higher education for the students by not increasing tuition, but instead providing additional operating aid. And the TAP, we think, is one of the best ways to make New York higher education affordable and accessible for students from all over the state, particularly the lower and middle class students. We want them to stay in New York, to go to school here, to graduate, to find a job, and to become part of the community. And New York will benefit, as will the individual students. Very briefly, we also felt very strongly in the majority conference about downstate, SUNY downstate. We want to see some improvements there, and this is, I think, an issue that's going to be discussed in greater detail perhaps later in the year. So I turn it over to my colleague from Albany, Assemblymember Fahey, and then who will deliver her remarks, and then we'll go back and read our highlights of our One House resolution.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Stavisky. And thanks to all who are here for the first meeting of the Joint Conference Committee on Higher Education as we begin to discuss the recommendations for this year's budget, the 24-25 budget. Always a pleasure to join my co-chair on this, Senator Stavisky, as we have been joining forces to really make sure that we address what we think has kind of fallen off to the wayside, and that is the dire need for higher education funding, particularly to try to turn around what have been truly troubling trends where 70% of students and families are telling us college affordability is the number one barrier. So I'm really pleased with where we are at this point, and as she mentioned, we'll get back to that later. So excited to be discussing these, and the following agencies are going to be discussed or will be under this conference committee, and that's SUNY itself, CUNY, HESC, or the Higher Education Service Corporation, the State Education Department, or SED, as well as the Council of the Arts. And today we are joined in the Assembly, from the Assembly majority, we're joined to my left is Assemblymember Colton. I don't see Assemblymember Latrice Walker. She may be joining us later. And I don't see Assemblymember Clyde Vannell either. So thankfully, we have our couple of alternates here. We have Assemblywoman Jen Lunsford, who will serve as an alternate, as well as Assemblymember Chris Ekus, also serving as an alternate. And then further to my left, Assemblymember Robert Smullen, who's joining us as the Assembly's Minority Conference ranking member, and so pleased to have him back with us as we continue to keep him and his family in our very deepest thoughts. So it's so good to see you here again. Secondly, followed to his left is Assemblymember Michael Riley, also serving as an alternate. And then I understand it's very important to say that we have designated Ashley Luz behind me as our recording secretary. And before I go back to Senator Stavisky, are there any members who would like to, any Assembly members who would like to make any statements regarding the conference committee? Mr. Smullen? Yes, please.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair. I just have to make one minor correction. Although I am sitting to the left of the chairwoman, most of my policy positions are somewhat to the right of the chair's position. So thank you for having us here. It's very important. Higher education is very important, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of the 6 million New Yorkers who are represented by the Assembly Minority Conference. This is part of the budget negotiation process, and we hope that these five-way negotiations are fruitful because higher education is a critical issue to all of us in New York. We're very concerned about affordability for families in New York. Attention to TAP should be a priority, and this 50th anniversary year has been said. This is because we continue to fail the middle class. These are people that work their whole lives, raise their kids, pay their taxes, and then when it's time for their children to go to college, to afford college, the state gives them the inadequate $500, the minimum TAP award. So we really need to reconsider maximum TAP for lowest incomes, but the entire TAP schedule to make sure that TAP is affordable at SUNY schools to pay the tuition. Secondly, our community colleges, particularly those in rural areas, suffer from an unpredictable formula providing aid attached to fluctuating levels of enrollment. While maintaining community college base aid has been helpful, we must provide a steady stream of additional support for community colleges for their leaders to plan their futures with confidence. It's truly a matter of rural equity for those of our citizens that live in rural areas so they can keep their campuses going and ensure quality education for our students. Third, and this is really important in our higher education world across the state, the governor needs to have solutions to address the rampant issue of systemic anti-Semitism, which is plaguing some of our institutions. We must take a strong stand to dismantle anti-Semitism and fight against this sort of hatred. And one of my colleagues, Assemblyman Rah, has introduced Assembly Bill 8279, which requires all higher education institutions to implement anti-Semitism awareness and prevention sensitivity training for faculty, staff, and students. I think it's our duty as citizens to combat prejudice, which has no place in our colleges or universities. And lastly, I think we always must keep in mind on this committee that New York is home to over 100 private colleges, which represent 480,000 students, many of which were hit hard by COVID and some of which have faced financial collapse. Since we already provide billions to our public universities, we need to think in those same terms to incentivize greater growth in our private sector as well. Adjustments to TAP would not only serve to assist students at SUNY and CUNY colleges and universities, but also study at independent colleges as well. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this discussion, and we'll go ahead with our conference. Thank you.
Thank you. I see we have now been joined by Assemblymember Clyde Vannell. And any other statements on this side regarding the opening for the budget? If not, I'm going to go back to, all good? Okay. I'm going to go back to Senator Stavisky for some opening comments on the Senate side. Thank you.
Thank you, and Assemblymember Smolin, our condolences from the Senate side also. And I'm glad you mentioned the number 6 million, because there are 6 million students who have benefited over the years from TAP, with a state investment of something like $3 billion with a B dollars. So we've done a good job. There's a lot more to do. I would like to appoint Beth LaMountain as the recording secretary of this conference, and let me call on Senator Leah Webb for opening remarks.
Thank you, Senator Stavisky, and to all my colleagues. We will most certainly do a deeper dive, but, as a member that has 6 colleges and universities in their district, and also coming from higher education myself, I most certainly appreciate the continued investments that we are making as a state in higher education. And as Senator Stavisky alluded to, especially in key areas such as TAP, which for a number of students really is a gateway for students to actually to be able to afford college. And so I know this is one of many provisions and programs that we're looking to expand. And as we continue to dialogue, also recognizing that our higher ed institutions in a lot of our communities are some of our major employers. They are also playing a key role in workforce development when you talk about our 2-year institutions, our community colleges. And so I believe it is paramount that as a state that we continue to make and strive for more equitable investments in higher education as we're continuing to grow most certainly economic development, but also expand on community development at the same time. So again, thank you so much, Senator Stavisky, and I look forward to our conversation and ultimate actions from this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Webb. Senator Joseph Griffo, the ranking member.
Thank you. Chairs Fahey and Stavisky and my colleagues. I also want to note that Senator Peter Oberrocker has been designated as the alternate member on this committee. And it's a pleasure to be with everybody here tonight. I think we all recognize that the costs of higher education are exorbitant and challenging to many New Yorkers. And that's why the work that will be done here over the next several weeks will be very critical to the future success that many American students, New York students particularly, and their families will have. And I'm confident, I think, that this subcommittee will come together and hopefully in a timely consensus enact an on-time and balanced budget, which is important to the people of this state. and that budget, I do believe, must and will contain, based upon some of the One House proposals, the necessary investments that we need in higher education. Pleased that there's commonality in some of the One House proposals, including the additional funding for the SUNY and CUNY operations, the additional capital for both SUNY and CUNY. As Senator Stavisky noted, the increased HECAP funds for capital programs for private universities, as well as Bundy Aid, and the additional funds for TAP, also very important too. Funding for our community colleges, very important, as well as support for finding and funding collective bargaining agreements and proposals that expand nursing programs and the expansion of mental health worker loan forgiveness when we consider some of the challenges that we see in regarding mental health services throughout the state. So that restoration is very important too. Something that I hope that we also can emphasize is, and then it was encouraging to see that the state, requiring the state to pick up the SUNY hospital debt service. But I think we need to go beyond that too. When we look at the emphasis that's being placed on downstate, and I think it's worthy, we should do similarly at upstate. Upstate University Hospital in Syracuse plays such a pivotal role in the upstate providing of care. And I'm hopeful that we will see similar investments like the $100 million in operations or the $300 million in capital that was put aside for downstate be matched for upstate too in the final budget that will be approved. Having had the opportunity just recently to tour upstate medical campus, I know that there are many needs there, and I think there's nothing more important when we look at patient care and preparing the clinical staff, the physicians of the future, that we make those investments. So I hope that will become a priority of all the final deliberations and discussions. And that's what this is all about. Budgets are about priorities, and they're about balance. And it's my hope that over the next couple of weeks, that through the conference committees and other discussions, that we'll outline those priorities and find the right balance for New Yorkers, where we don't push additional burdens on them, but we provide what is necessary in order for them to meet the needs and obligations, particularly from a healthcare perspective, but also from a higher educational perspective. So thank you, Senator Stavisky and Assemblywoman Fahey.
Thank you. All right, now we come to the highlight reel, so to speak. For CUNY, we are recommending in our One House resolution $535 million to an increase for New York Senior College capital funding, $67 million for CUNY's general operational support, and $6 million for the CUNY Medical School. For SUNY, we are recommending $670 million for the SUNY Senior College capital funding, $150 million for restorations to the SUNY Hospital capital funding program, including upstate and downstate, as Senator Griffo outlined, and $100 million for general operating support. For HECAP, we are recommending a restoration of the $40 million in the matching funds. For HESC, the Higher Education Services Corporation, we are recommending $184 million for expanding the TAP program. For the State Education Department, Office of Higher Education, the restoration of funding for the opportunity programs. For the Council on the Arts, we are recommending, we are proposing funding for the following: $50.6 million for operating grants and aids and arts funding, $45 million for additional capital funding, and $8 million for the regional arts councils. The Article 7 highlights. The Senate proposes the following for TAP expansion. Reform the TAP program by raising the minimum income threshold for the TAP eligibility from $80,000 a year to $125,000 a year. Secondly, increasing the minimum TAP award from $500 to $1,000. Third, increasing the maximum TAP award from $56.65 to $61.65. And lastly, ending the differential treatment for independent and for independent students. Secondly, the Senate also advances language to address the HESC overpayment for the independent students, to require that funding clawback shall not occur where an underpayment was made. Third, the Senate rejects the executive's proposal to eliminate Bundy aid eligibility. The Senate also rejects the executive proposal to expand the scope of practice for physician assistants, certified medication aides, and dentists and dental hygienists. And lastly, let me just add one other aspect. Even though we reject some of those scope of practices, that does not mean that they will not be considered as individual bills outside of the budget. Our feeling was that these items do not belong in the budget. And lastly, the Senate rejects the executive's proposal to enter the New York State enter New York State in the interstate medical and for the medical license compact, but as well as the one on nursing. So those are our proposals. It's really just a starting point for further discussions, which will take place in the ensuing weeks. So I thank everybody very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you to each of the senators for running through a number of issues and concerns, and thank you for itemizing a number of the highlights. I think that makes a lot of sense, and we're actually really proud of where we are in both one houses. So why don't I run through a couple of the where we are with the Assembly One House proposal at this point as well. At this point, with regard to operating support, we have in the Assembly One House $186.5 million above where the governor is. For SUNY, $124 million in additional operating aid for CUNY. That does include some of the collective bargaining agreements that have also been underway. With regard to community colleges, well, that has been a big concern on that side. We didn't make as much of the mark as was requested, but $11 million in additional dollars for SUNY community colleges, $5.3 million for CUNY community colleges, although I should add at the other table under economic development, under ESD, there is an on-ramp program that has about $93 million, which will also serve some upstate community colleges. With regard to the SUNY hospitals, we have $79.1 million in debt service release. We've also rejected the proposed Bundy aid cuts that the executive proposed, and we're restoring the full funding to where it was last year. We're also restoring and providing a 5% increase on the opportunity programs such as EOP and HEOP. With regard to facilities or capital funding, at this point we have an $820 million increase for SUNY over the executive and $535 for CUNY in additional capital dollars, as well as restoring the $40 million for the HECAP, which is the Higher Ed Capital Matching Grants Program. And within that operating aid, I should also note, I think it's $4 million that we have in for the CUNY Medical College that we've certainly been hearing a lot about. With regard to TAP, we took a slightly different approach, but I'm really pleased with the attention on the TAP program. Again, going back to the fact that we're hearing that 70% of students are raising affordability as the number one issue. So TAP has been around for 50 years. For 25 years, we have really not had significant increases to the point of where it's barely serving students from low-income families, certainly not serving the middle-class families that it once served. So with that, we are proposing to raise the award, very similar to the Senate on a few of these, raising the TAP award from a minimum of $500 to $1,000, allowing a 5th year of eligibility for TAP, especially targeting those non-traditional students that we need to reclaim to turn around these enrollment numbers. Providing part-time TAP for proprietary college students, which puts them on par with CUNY and SUNY and other colleges for part-time TAP. We're also raising the income threshold, which has not been raised in almost a quarter century, and that income threshold for families would raise from $80,000 to $125,000. And certain independent students would fully qualify if an orphan foster child or ward of the court. We don't go quite as far as the Senate, I'm afraid. Maybe we'll get there. With regard to independent married students, we have raised that income threshold from 40 to 60. And then with regard to single independent students who have no tax dependents, we're raising that threshold from $10,000 to $30,000. We also have increases in the arts, an increase of $59 million up to $109 million for the New York State Council on the Arts, and aid to locality. A part of that would be up. It's already the 59 million. I also want to add a quick note about the scope of practice. The Assembly as well has taken out the scope of practice provision, similar to the Senate. But I also want to echo Senator Stavisky's comments. We are still meeting, talking on many of these scope issues, and we will continue to collaborate on a host of those as we try to responsibly address some of the health care and other workforce shortages that we hear about every single day. So we are going to continue our collaboration there. And with that, I'm going to say thank you to all those who are here. I think this concludes the first meeting of the Higher Education Conference Committee. We'll meet again at the call of the General Conference Committee, unless there are any additional comments. Sorry, I see Mr. Ickes, did you have something, Senator Stavisky? No. Okay. I see Assemblymember Ickes.
Thank you. I just want to make mention, I was brand new to the Assembly last year, and you, Assemblywoman Fahey and Senator Stavisky, said this year, 24-25, would be the year of higher ed, and I would like the world to know that you held to that. We certainly tried our best, and I want to thank you very much for that. I hope that the extra money that we put in for operating costs for SUNY goes to those 9 colleges which are in very desperate straits, and it'd be nice also if we could get back the capital funds for the labor school and all. So, but I know that it's been a fantastic job, and thank you both for everything that you've done.
Thank you. So glad we got those comments on. No. Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Ickes. Thank you all who have attended, certainly to be continued. Thank you.